Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to a new year with me. I'm so excited to have you guys back, and I'm so excited for us to continue on our journey. Now, I know, all of you spent New Year's Eve or the days before, or even the days right after the New Year, slavishly, devotedly writing out your New Year's resolutions and planning out all your goals for this bright, shiny new year of 2026. But I know, sincerely, I know that you made all these plans to do improvements here and there. You made all these plans to attain certain statuses. You made all these plans to fit into a smaller pair of jeans or a bigger case if you're on steroids, and I believe in you. But I know for a fact that you did not plan your weeks around making a memorable year. I know you didn't because most don't. We all say, oh, I want to be happier. But what does that mean? How can you actionably make yourself happier? Mm. And I say, but I do know you have to plan it. Last year in 2025, I listened to a very impactful episode of the Mel Robbins podcast. And in this episode, she was discussing how planning out family fun made life so much better for her and her family. So their relationships naturally became closer in a time where it was very easy to be distant because they made this family fun episode to discuss it in the wake of the global pandemic that was killing millions of people. So during that time, if memory serves, they were putting all that in. So they were putting in the groundwork to say, hey, we're going to hang out. We're going to make this time to play board games, to tell silly jokes to one another, to go sledding down the hill behind the house. And they put in that hard work, they put in that effort, and they ended up having fun and laughing more. And now they're closer and more comfortable with each other than they were pre pandemic, which I think is beautiful, especially because I know and I've already seen because in December it already starts the uptick. I know that this month of January, every gym in America is going to be filled to the gills with the New Year's resolutioners who are like, I'm going to get a hot bod this year. And then by February, everyone will remember, oh, actually, I hate the gym. This is terrible. I'm sweating so much. Ew. Why am I sweating so much? It's January. It's cold. Ugh. I I already know where this is going. But I do know it could go someplace way better. You could just enjoy a nice life. But you have to do it in a very specific way. You have to be actionable about your goals. You can't just say, oh, I want to do this. You can't. Because if your whole year is simply guided around, oh, I want to be the biggest, buffest person in the world, or oh, I want to learn how to do this activity, you're not going to know how to make that useful for your life. The same way they tell you, oh, when you make a goal, it has to be specific and actionable. In order to live a good life, your plans have to be specific and actionable as well. So, what does that look like? There's 52 weeks in every single year. Now, you might not be able to do this for every single week, but I'm going to challenge you to do so. Every week, you must say, okay, what can I do this week to make it a little bit brighter, a little bit better? Maybe one week you're like, oh, let me tackle that old to do list to declutter the garage a little bit. And then that's a little something off of your list. You get 10, 15 things out of that garage, and you're like, oh, the weight is off my shoulder. The mental weight is off of my brain. And now your plate's a little more empty, so you can put something on there that you really want to do. Because you wanted the garage cleared out to do what? Start woodworking again. Or to have more room in there to put in your grill stuff for when you're not grilling in the winter. It simply makes sense. It stands to reason to do things that make life easier slash more enjoyable for you. So when you start every single week with an intention to make the week memorable and enjoyable in some way, shape, or form, it's going to smooth out your process of the year with you being able to achieve whatever your actual goal is. Like if your goal is to be in the gym, okay? Your goal is to be in the gym. Your goal is to be a muscle mommy. Maybe the thing that'll make you happier is making sure that you always have cute gym clothes. Maybe what's going to make you happier is making sure that your personal gym equipment is well suited to your personal gym needs. If you have a bad knee, perhaps you're the type of person who should get a brace. Now, when we think about getting a knee brace, that doesn't make it the most happy, exciting thing, right? But if you get a little bit of a brace, it helps you make it through the day a little easier if you are someone who would have a hard time doing gym activities, especially leg-based gym activities. So it's not about being like, woo, this is the best year ever. We're going to have so much fun. It's about putting your best foot forward to make 2026 a year that you will be so happy to look back on through your own action. There are many things that can happen outside of your control that can make it unhappy or happy, right? God forbid there could be a massive world war that breaks out. God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. You know, there could be a sickness, We already saw how that went. There could be someone who robs your shoes when you're, at the gym or something like that. There could be like any number of small unpleasantness or big issues that could appear in your life. However, if you make your plan, you decide, I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to make sure I'm doing things geared towards enjoying my life. Then it's going to be very hard to be fully dissatisfied, okay? We, of course, should feel our feelings and be upset with life if things are not going our way. We should be upset. We should be like, because that upset is your power to move forward and do things a little differently, right? But you can't stay stuck in there because I know last year I had a really hard time. It was one of the worst years of my life. And I wasn't a planner of joy until the tail end of the year, just about. I was not planning positive things that made me happy until after June. And half the year was gone. Now, I am grateful that I did turn things around in that way and that I fixed my mindset to make things a lot more manageable for myself. However, had I baked that in from January on, I would have had a much better time. Now, the second thing is the actual scheduling of it. Now, first, the intention. That's the key part. You have the intention, but you can have all the intention in the world if you don't actually implement it. But if you schedule it in and you say, okay, by this day, I will do X, Y, Z. So you scheduled your gym time, you handled all that, blah, 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 blah. You got your great sweat. Cool, amazing, good. But when it comes to what's going to make you happy in the week, your little joy, perhaps even your little reward for the gym, if you just say, oh, I'll reward myself eventually, you'll never get to it. So you must put it and you must stick to it. Many people, they set the resolution, right? They set the resolution and then they ignore it. They leave it behind. They say, ugh, well, I wrote it down in the notebook, so the energy is there. No, the energy is there, but it's not your energy unless you do it. So you schedule it, and then you have to be someone who is capable of self-trust, and you have to go through with it. So you scheduled your gym time, you went through with it. You schedule your joy time, you go through with it. You cannot avoid it. It must be done. Okay? Because if you write it down, if you schedule, if you plan it, you trust yourself. You believe in yourself. You know you can do it. So why would you let yourself down? Why would you let yourself down? That's the reason why the resolutions always fail, because you let yourself down. You have to be able to trust yourself. You have to be the kind of person who can trust yourself. Same way you trust that man that lies to you. Same way you trust your syllabus. Same way you trust your professor. Same way you trust your boss. Same way you trust the MTA, even though it constantly lets you down. You have to trust yourself. And so, unlike all those other people who constantly let you down, you have to be someone who can not only trust yourself, but who can actually come through for you. So if you say, as my reward for becoming a Pilates princess, I'm going to make sure I get myself the extra cute Pilates socks, you have to actually implement the plan of getting the cute Pilates socks. It's 1-to-1. It's basic math, baddies, okay? Basic math. You set out to do it, ergo, you must do it. Money allowing. Ooh. Okay. That was so fucking funny. And I understand maybe planning little moments, it doesn't feel like enough, right? You want like your big moment. You want to have your large moment of success to really show for what you have put in. Like if you're someone who wants to make sure your months, your weeks, your years are happier, you want to show something for it in the end. You want to say, well, you know what? I did put in this work. I did slowly but surely become happier. But like, how can I prove? I know for some of you, especially the social media, that I was happier this year. Well, you can do slightly bigger things for yourself. So if we're talking small stuff, we're talking 15 items decluttered. We're talking baked cookies this week for small stuff. For big stuff, maybe you treat yourself to a little trip, money allowing. Maybe you apply for a grant, a travel grant, to go on a big trip and you win it. And then you go off and do it. Maybe you apply for any number of grants and then you let that little money float around in your pocket and you feel successful. You feel like, I really won. I did it. But if you want to plan the big stuff, of course, the little stuff has to continue going on. But you have to be way more intentional if you're planning something big. Like if you're planning a trip, you have to make sure you have the dates set out. Make sure your vacation time is there. Make sure your energy is there. Make sure you have a proper suitcase that's in good condition. Make sure your passport's good if you're trying to go international. So your little things will train you to be ready for your big thing. So your big reward, your trip abroad, your Ducati motorcycle, you got to prepare yourself because a Ducati, that's not a soft start. That's full throttle in less than 30 seconds. You need to be ready for that. You have to prepare yourself. And now you might be saying, okay, well, what are examples beyond this like decluttering, this, that, and the third? Like, why do I have to do these small things? Okay, so an example of a small reward that you could do for yourself. Maybe you're someone who has a accessible city, a walkable city, a travel city, a city that is easy to get to and fro. I live in New York. I'm very spoiled in that manner. Anywhere in this city is like an hour or so away from me, max. And I also have a lot of audiobooks downloaded, have a lot of videos downloaded. Any point in time, I could just sit down, watch a K-drama and a half, and I'm wherever I need to be. So if I'm someone, I know I'm not going to be able to buy something this week that's going to make me happy, maybe I'll take something off of my watch list. So I've been trying to watch different anime this year in 2025. 2026, who knows? Who knows if I actually make it through my watch list. But I'll decide, okay, well, this week I'm going to make sure I watch this movie because I wanted to watch it since 2023. I just let it sit there and rot on my watch list. So this week I watch the movie. I enjoy the movie. I think about the movie. Probably I'll come here and talk to you guys about the movie too. But I did that. I made the promise to myself. I stuck with it. Now for me, sometimes traveling more than an hour in the city feels like going on an international trip. So let's say I want to go from Queens to the Met Cloisters without a car. Maybe that's my big reward for myself. That's my big travel reward that takes some finagling to get to happen. So since it takes a little finagling to happen, to come to fruition, I must make sure that everything is aligned. I must make sure I have the day off on that day. I must make sure my outfit is cute because I'm definitely going to take pictures. I must make sure my makeup is done for the very same pictures I just discussed. And I must make sure that I have sufficient time in the day to have sunlight so I can actually enjoy being there instead of being cold and shivery because right now it's January. And might I want to do a cute Belle from Beauty and the Beast esque photo shoot there? Yes, but not enough to be freezing cold all day long. That is a cloister. It's very cold in there. So you have to have all your arrangements aligned in order to make your big and small rewards make sense. And if money's no object, maybe your small reward for the week could be getting that very expensive drink from the cafe that you want to go to. Me personally, I'm looking forward to my matcha Einspanner. And you might say, an Einspanner is not that expensive. It is if your average matcha for you personally, because you make it at home, costs maybe $2. So a $7 one, it's a little rich for our blood. But it's still within reach. That still could be my small reward for whatever difficult thing I did in the week to match up with my real goal. It doesn't take much. It just takes thought, okay? It doesn't take much. It just takes thought. You put a little more thought, a little more intention into your days, into your weeks, into your months, everything starts coming together. Everything starts to make a little more sense. And it becomes so much easier to get the things done that you want to get done. And now, this week, when this is going up, we're still in not even the first full week of the year. We still kind of have like the little dust of last year on us. So if you weren't in the mindset when this week started, because we were the old self in the old year, in order to make things work for you, then what you can do right now today is just sit down and write a list of not even 52, okay? 15 things that are small that would make you happy, and write a list of 4 small things that you want to do that would make you happy that are a little bit bigger, a little more pricey, a little more hard work that goes into them, a little more planning. You make that list and then you see, where can I fold my 15 in? Where can I fold my 4 in? Now, maybe all 4 big things aren't doable. Maybe you want to do 4 foreign trips because you've always wanted to be a baddie in Dubai, shaking your butt on a yacht. Maybe that's not in the cards, honey. Maybe the cost might be a little too high for that one. But you can go to Mexico. You can go to the Caribbean. Maybe you can go to Bali or to China because they do have some deserts over there. And the cost of being in China is a little cheaper than the cost of being in Dubai, you know? You see what works for you. You see what works for you, okay? And your 15 small things, they're small because you know they're doable. So every week, find a way to make your life more enjoyable in that short 15. And then by the end of the year, make sure you like write 15 things every month. So by the end of the year, you have more options as to what small things you can do to add more enjoyment to your day, to your weeks, to your months, to your year. So by the end, you'll not cross all of them off because 15 times 12 slash 15 times 42 is a lot. But you'll at least have done the 52 nice things. And you should try your best to do them every week. So do one thing every week. You don't need to double up. Doubling up, foolish, silly. Why are you going to do that? Just do a big reward. If you have to double up, if it's like what would make you happy that's small, costs money, and you'd rather put that money towards something that is costly, maybe you want to get yourself a nice fur stole, a mink stole. Maybe you want to get a new laptop because you want a game and the Mac just doesn't cut it, and it won't. It's a Mac. That's for graphic design. Come on now. I understand. You save that. You still have to find something free to do that would make your life more enjoyable, or something you already pay for. You have time to scroll all day. You have time to watch your show. You have time to watch a movie. You have time to do this. You have time to do that. Be intentional. Make sure all your actions are actionable. Don't let everything sit in your mind and to be like, oh, well, I'm satisfied because I planned it. And then go back to scrolling on TikTok or X or whatever is going to come out. I don't know. Just really take the time to enjoy this year. Now, I won't dare say anything cheerful like, oh my God, 2016's. Oh, God, 2016. Good Lord. I won't say anything crazy like, oh my God, 2026 is going to be the year. It's going to be the one that changes everything for us. It's going to be great. I learned my hard lesson in 2020 when I said that, so I'm not saying that ever again. But you can make it a more enjoyable year for you. So do what you can to that effect. And with that, once again, Happy New Year. Thanks for coming back. And I hope you stick around this whole year. Our anniversary is coming up, and I'm excited to see what we do. Till next time.